all about engine assembly lube, the importance of it, why we use it. We got a few brands here like Torco, Joe Gibbs Driven, from Crower, Webcam, even Lucas Racing Oil. We tested on the bearing how good it sticks. Yes, and we talk about all the stuff that's when it comes to engine building like this. Yes, and we also show you why it's important to wiping the bores off after installing the crankshaft in here, and also discuss this about the assembly loop, not just on the bearings itself, but even on the piston pin, why, and the help that it gives. Yes, and just for you guys, we're gonna show you this side-by-side test of the journals with the assembly loop and the oil and see how long it sticks and how long it doesn't stick. So yep, let's go. Yeah. And so first things first, here's our new page. I had to make a new page because when my personal Facebook got hacked, I lost control of the old page, so I had to make this new one. Here we got a price list for all the locals and international. We got head porting, engine rebuild labor, cam degree, and even intake porting. Yes, we try to constantly post there. If we don't get to post every day, but every other day we do. Like this short time intake we posted, we always use this. It led to a good discussion on the comment section that actually led to an intake test between stock airbox, short ram, and cold air. And then of course the next thing was the fat boy intake. As we scroll down, you can see we tried to post all the good stuff there too. Yup, even reels that doesn't make this channel. Yes, you gotta check it out. Like and follow. Link will be in the description below. Of course, if you don't have Facebook, we got my personal Instagram. I use it exclusively for SRD Motorsports, as you can see here. Much of the same stuff. I share stuff there too. So both links, Facebook page and Instagram, will be linked in the description below. And of course, since TikTok is banned in the US now, every other country around the world will still have used TikTok. We got a bunch of short form content there for entertainment. We try to post the good stuff there too, so check it out. Of course, it'll be in the description. Okay, let's start. Here's the stash of my assembly lube. We got my favorite Torco Assembly lube here, the 3 bottles and the 1 mini bottle, which is 4 ounce. And of course the tube for the paste of the assembly lube. Joe Gibbs Driven. I had 4 of these. I used one. It was really good. So yep, this is also excellent. Lucas Racing Oil assembly grease. Yes, from Crower and Webcam. I know Webcam this is Torco when they were working together. I'm not sure now, like what all. But Crower has their own, and also the Lucas Racing Oil came from Crower. One of the kinds I ordered had that lube, so I saved here. It's all good. Yes, and locally you can get some. You can get this. You can search it at a local marketplace in Facebook. The Amsoil Assembly Lube is pretty good. Also this, the Permatex USA assembly lube. Yes, I've learned the importance of it in building VW engines. I've built a few. I've never had a flat cam lifters, and you can see here the camshaft at the bottom of the crank. Here the lifters, you gotta lube that well and break it in properly with a cam. The cam break-in is crucial in VW, or else you'll get your cam and lifters flat. See this assembly lube? Yes. So of course, when I build the engines in the Honda, it transferred there, even to all the other brands. All right, let's put this aside here. Let's do the test with the bearings. Let's put this here. We're gonna try assembly lube on the bearing surface, and then of course a regular oil. Let's see. Let me show you the difference. Right, let's move this. This is the baby bottle. This is 4 ounce bottle. Yes, this is gonna go to someone. Check it out later. We'll talk about it. Yep. Yes, I will use this one for the test. Yes, before that, I do a favor. Hit the like button, because the more likes the video gets, the more activity it shows to the algorithm and gets spread out to wider audience. It helps the channel more. It helps me big time. So hit the like button, guys. I really appreciate that. And of course, if you haven't, you gotta subscribe. This way you can freely watch all the other videos, the playlist on your own free time, because when you're subscribed, whenever you go to YouTube, you'll see our channel there. You can check it out on your own free time. Enjoy all the videos. We have almost over 300. And of course, for the hardcore, we got some hardcore videos here. Yes, we talk about basic stuff and the tips and tricks in the engine assembly, even ECU tuning. We're working on an even more comprehensive ECU tuning video, including the dyno here. Yep, I'll see you there. All right, here you go. Here's the bearings. All right, this open. This the rod bearings are the box is already open, but it's still unpacked. So let me remove that from its own, shrink wrap plastic, so we can test it out. All right. Let's get the paper towel here, so it's gonna be ready. Yes. All right. A lot of old OG or veteran builders always says that, maybe 30 to 40% of your bearing wear comes from the initial startup because it's dry or it's just regular oil. So when you think about it, assembly lube is that important. All right. Here we go. One shell. We use two shells. One for the assembly lube and one for the regular oil. All right. Okay. Let me grab the oil, bottle of oil. Here it is. This is about 30 or 40 weight regular oil, motor oil. Okay. Now we're gonna test it with the Torco Assembly lube first. Of course, just to be fair, because if we put the oil, regular oil first, it might just drip off, and it will seem like it's worst. Here you go. Now we let gravity feed it in, or pour it out. You can squeeze the bottle, but I try not to squeeze the bottle. We just let gravity pour it in or drop it in. There you go. See how thick that is. All right. We don't put this sideways yet. So that it's gonna be a fair test, a fair comparison. This is just, this is not really scientific. It's just to show you guys visually how good the assembly lube is and how important it can be when you're building an engine. Sorry. Here we let the regular oil, just have a drop on the bearings, on the bearing shell. Here you go. All right. Now we can tilt it sideways and you'll see how fast the regular oil will just drip off. Assembly lube is still there. Look, it's almost instantly. It's the regular oil already in the tissue. Yes, I said the assembly lube was also dripped down, but look, almost more than half of it is still stuck on the bearing surface. It's that sticky, it's that good. So when you think about it, for the initial startup without any oil pressure buildup yet, this is really, really crucial and really helpful. That's why even, camshaft, brand new camshaft has their own lube. It comes with it, like from Crower, Webcam, as you can see. More than half of it is still stuck. Look at the oil, already almost all in the tissue. Just, almost nothing left of the bearing, but look at the assembly lube. It's still on the bearing surface, like almost half of it, so that's pretty good. Sorry about the focus. So when you think about it, you build an engine, you let stay on the engine stand for like a day or two. Regular oil is fine, but it still helps with the assembly lube. And if you remember episode 1 of this B20 VTEC build here, we discovered that they didn't use assembly lube. It was assembled dirty, damaged the crank. Here's their damaged crank. We're gonna use it as an example. Set aside. We're not gonna use the number 4 journals, which is busted up with the damage. As you can see on the here, we wipe this journal 2 and number 3 of the rods, so it's closer to the camera or closer to the phone in this case. Yes, let's wipe this good. Make sure it's dry. All right, there you go. So the one on the left, journal number 2, we're gonna use assembly lube, and then journal number 3, we're gonna use regular oil and show you guys how quickly the regular oil drips out. So if you have the engine fully built and it's on the stand for like weeks, it might just have dry bearings. So on startup, it's gonna have extremely big wear on the startup here, the regular oil. All right. This is how important assembly lube for us is, and for if you're building an engine, might as well get an assembly lube, like even just a small bottle, because you don't really consume much of it, but it's really, really important. We'll let gravity feed itself. Come on, let's get just one drop. Okay, there you can see it. There you go. Okay, there. Just one drop, one dab. And then the regular oil on the other journals. Here. We try to put it as close to the top side as not by the hole. Wipe this off. There. Look how fast the engine oil is dripping down, right? And the assembly loop has barely moved. So imagine if this crank has bearings installed on it from the mains and the rods. This will try to maintain the lube as long as it can, even before startup. Look. So imagine if the bearing shells are closed up on the journals. This is gonna ensure that it's well lubed right before startup. So this how important assembly lube is, right? Here we go. Yes. Look, just wait there. It's still there, right? So if it's closed with the bearings, it's gonna be all safe. It's all good. All the main journals and the rod journals, we definitely use always assembly lube. This is why it's important. This is why we're showing you this, because yes, you can use regular oil, but as long as it starts within the same day or next day. Because look at this. This is the earlier B20 VTEC that we rebuilt. Look, aside from being built really dirty, those wear is probably, from dry startup. And of course, it didn't help even if it's well lubed. If it was dirty, it looks like it had sand. So that's crazy, Look at that. Let's look at it close. Let me clip the phone to show you guys. Look, it's still just there. And the oil is already gone. It already dripped off. So imagine, even if it had bearings on, having the fully built engine on the stand for like more than 3 days on regular oil, that's kind of dangerous because, you cannot be sure all the bearing surfaces are still oiled up. Or if it may have, but it's just a little bit left. That is why OGs says, OG builders would say 30 to 40% of the bearing wear starts on the initial startup. Yep. And if you remember this video here, episode 3 of the B20 VTEC, this is the clip. We're showing it again. This is also why we spray WD-40 on the bore, wipe them off. Aside from just the flash rust, making sure it's all clean, of course, when you assemble the crank, the block is going to be inverted, right? There may be times or moments you would drip some assembly lube down to the bore, and you don't want that because it's too slippery. It may prolong or prevent you from having your piston rings break in well. And also this one here, on installing the pistons, we make sure the piston pin boss and the rod small end, be it stock or aftermarket, it's gonna be well lubed with assembly lube because it gets lubricated by oil pressure and oil splash. So when you think about it, on an initial startup, that's not really oiled well. So it's gonna gall the piston pin. If it's galled, it's no longer smooth. Do you think that's gonna be spinning well? Nope, it might be robbing horsepower, right? It's just like having your wheel bearings not spinning smoothly is gonna eat up horsepower. Yep, look at this here. This is the earlier, but I took a picture of it. Look at how much assembly lube is still sticking on the bearing surface. That's how helpful it is on initial startup, and that's why we always use assembly lube on each builds. And here it is, this bottle here. I'm actually gonna give this to Zeph Wayne because he's a customer and became really a good friend. So it's a well-deserved, assembly lube that he deserves to have because he has a B18C that he's still about to initially build. So this is my surprise for him. If he's watching this video, then he would know he's gonna get the assembly lube there. And also this one here, an extra. This is a mix of 70% EDF and 30% motor oil. I use this to lubricate the piston rings because I don't want it too slippery as 100% motor oil because it might prolong the break-in period of having the piston rings seat into the bore well. So this is 70% EDF and 30% motor oil. This is what I always use since day one, since 2006. All right. So it's been working for me, so you guys can try this. It's up to you. And yes, we also use it in the carbide cutter. So yes, we'll have the first episode of the B20 VTEC over here.